Congratulations, Manchester City 3, Chelsea 0 at Stamford Bridge. Those are the final scores of the game that was played today. Goals scored by Nico O'Reilly, Mark Gehi, and Jeremy Doku. That is at 51st, 57th, and 68th minute. All three goals came in a devastating 17 minutes second half spell. Key stats: possession, Chelsea was at 36%. Manchester City was at 64%. Shots on target, Chelsea had 12 and Manchester City had 18 shots on target. That was 3 for Chelsea and 8 for Manchester City. And then we had goal average that was 1.19 and 1.89. This was a classic case of control plus efficiency versus inconsistency and wastefulness from Team Chelsea. First half, Chelsea promising but blunt. Chelsea actually started well, created early chances through Cole Palmer, João Pedro, and Cucurella. Had a disallowed goal tight offside, showed pressing intent and energy, but there are their own problems in that poor final ball execution, a lack of composure in the box, attack breaking down too quickly. They had moments but no clinical edge to finish up, and we had talked about that earlier in our pre-match analysis. Manchester City controlled, and there was so much passion that City didn't dominate early but controlled tempo, kept possession and structure, waited for Chelsea to fade, and they had a very classic Guardiola approach, that is absorb, adjust, and punish, and that is what they did. Well, second half, it was so much stunning with Manchester City dominating. This is where the game was won. Tactical shift, that is for Team City, increased tempo immediately after halftime. More direct runs and vertical passing exploited Chelsea's midfield gaps, and the results are 3 goals in 17 minutes. Not the quickest goal scored, but again, at least are done in a very short time. Goals breakdown and defensive errors. There is first goal scored by O'Reilly, cross from Cheki. Weak marking in the box by Chelsea, poor defensive positioning by Team Chelsea, and the issue was Chelsea centre backs lost aerial awareness, giving it easy to O'Reilly. The second goal done by Gay, there is was a quick combination play, defensive line caught static, no midfield tracking. The issue with Team Chelsea was a lack of defensive coordination, giving Gay that quick goal. The third goal done by Doku, given by Doku. Caicedo dispossessed in a dangerous area, immediate punishment, and the issue individual error plus poor decision making under pressure by Caicedo. We talk about missed opportunities from both teams. I will start with Team Chelsea. Chelsea missed chances. Cucurella disallowed goal, a marginal offside, but showed poor timing. João Pedro and Palma chances, good build up, weak finishing, transition moments wasted, several counterattacks disallowed, slowed down unnecessarily. Overall problem for Team Chelsea, low efficiency in the final third. Manchester City missed chances, could have scored more than 3 goals, created more shots, that is 17 shots, and 18 shots with 8 shots on target, more big chances, wasted a few for overplaying in the box, final pass delays. City still were clinical enough when it mattered. Tactical analysis for both teams. Manchester City's strength, midfield dominance, and remember in our earlier pre-match analysis we said whoever will control the midfield will be in a position to control the game, and that is what team Manchester City did in the second half. Midfield dominance, ball control plus positioning for Team City, a wide threat, dark stretching play, creative hub, shaky, as we had said earlier, decisive with assists, high pressing triggers. They punished mistakes, fatigue, and poor structure of Team Chelsea. Team Chelsea weaknesses: mental collapse after conceding, poor midfield protection, defensive disorganization, lack of leadership. Once they conceded, game went over psychologically. So they were just playing to finish up the time, but the game had ended completely. Solutions for the next matches: Team Chelsea, what must change will be improve in finishing, more composure in front of the goal, better shot selections, and solution will be extra attacking drills, define a clear main striker role. Midfielder discipline: Caicedo isolated too isolated, too often, no protection for defense, and solution should be that use double pivot more effectively, improve spacing and positioning. Chelsea should also look into the defensive organization. They had a very poor marking, slow reactions, and they should tighten their defense lines, communication, and leadership at the back. A mental resilience team collapsed after the first goal, and the solution to that should be stronger in game leadership, game management. Not just because one goal has been scored doesn't mean that you've lost the game. They should know how to work on that. Manchester City, what to improve? Faster starts at slow first half could cost them bigger games. Solutions there probably with the Arsenal, and that will be costing them on that. But they will be on their own turf. We don't know what will happen in that match next. I don't know why I had to talk about Arsenal in this. Solutions increase early intensity for them, and finishing efficiency could have scored more. Solutions be more decisive in final third. Avoid complacency. First half showed slit drop in sharpness. Solutions maintain high tempo throughout. A final verdict for the match: Manchester City, ruthless, structured, title ready. Chelsea talented but inconsistent and mentally fragile. The bigger difference: City were clinical and composed, Chelsea were chaotic and wasteful for the little chances that they were given. Now, the Manchester City have closed a gap between them and Arsenal. Now, it was 9 points between them and Arsenal. Now, it's just 6 points between them and Arsenal. And that leads to with them having to place in hand. That means they've already taken the Premier League, but Arsenal can only say that once that has been done, because the next matches are coming in. The greatest match being Arsenal versus Newcastle, Arsenal versus Manchester City. These will be the two definitive matches that will determine whether Arsenal will be carrying the EPL this season or not. And Manchester City have their own couple, and we want to know. Let us know in the comment section whether you believe that Arsenal still have a chance to win the EPL or not. Tell us in the comment section. Thank you. Don't leave without subscribing. Bye.